Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and a warm welcome to our spring release webinar. We're absolutely thrilled to have you here today with us and share the latest ClickShare and Huddly development with you. We have our ClickShare product managers here today, Peter and Dorothy, and a very special guest joining, Fraser Park, Chief Commercial Officer from Huddly. They will reveal our best and latest product details and respond to your questions. Should you have any questions, please drop them in the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom window during the webinar. We will answer them at the end of this session, live or via chat. Now, what's on the agenda today? Drum roll. We will kick off with our ClickShare Hub, Microsoft and Huddly partnerships. As you may know, we have recently launched ClickShare Hub Pro and Huddly bundle, certified for Microsoft Teams. So that's what we'll cover during this session, a quick bundle overview, followed by a deep dive into the devices. Last but not least, for ClickShare Conference and Present, we have a few interesting features in the spotlight, so you can make the most of your devices and exciting spring promos. And without further ado, I will give the floor to Peter.
Thank you very much, Catalina. And I want to kick this off, this spring webinar, with an update on the Microsoft partnerships. So welcome, everybody. We got lots of content to cover in this webinar, so let's get going. The story of our partnership with Microsoft already began 2 years ago with the announcement that we would opt into the Microsoft device ecosystem platform for our new generation of products. And that product is the ClickShare Hub, which we launched a year ago in the summer. And the first certified bundle with Sennheiser hit the market end of last year. This was the first ever wireless certified MTR bundle. And now I'm very happy to announce the first ClickShare Hub bundle together with Huddly. And I think this is very special. So why ClickShare and Huddly? Because our products share a lot of common values around both simplicity and flexibility. If you look at a Huddly product as well as towards a ClickShare, we have always put great effort into making sure our solutions are easy to deploy. So they are very simple to get going, yet they pack always a lot of power. They are flexible, modular systems that can grow to make sure it covers all the needs that you have for your rooms, and that those components can be reused. You could say if you're changing the room, or otherwise said, if you're not changing the room, no need to redesign. You can always stay up to date, like now with our new platform with the ClickShare Hub, bringing in, you can say, the 4K wireless content sharing from virtually any device. And then with Huddly, this really comes alive, you could say, in every meeting space. There, Fraser will give more content on that one. So how does it come together? We have the ClickShare Hub Pro certified with the Huddly C1. We're going to deep dive on the ClickShare Hub Pro with Dorothy from the Barco team. She's going to tell you the ins and outs of what the ClickShare Pro has to offer as a modular room system. And on the other hand, Fraser from the Huddly team will deep dive into the Huddly C1. There it's very clear. It looks, you could say, a beautiful tiny solution, but it packs a lot of power and capabilities of extending into the future. So I'm gonna give the word to Dorothy.
Yes, thank you very much, Peter, and a very warm welcome from my side to everyone for joining this spring release webinar together. Let me start by introducing ClickShare Hub in deep dive. ClickShare Hub Pro is a premium modular wireless video conferencing room system designed for modern meeting spaces where hybrid meeting or hybrid work is the norm nowadays. It works natively with Microsoft Teams rooms, which means when unboxing the ClickShare Hub, After installation, the device works directly when you log into your Microsoft Teams Room licensing account. And it also supports dual display, allowing Teams to see people and content at the same time, which is also crucial for inclusive hybrid meetings. With the 4K wireless presentation and conferencing powered by two 5th-generation ClickShare buttons, sharing content is a breeze. It is fast, it is reliable, and it's extremely simple. Finally, it's built on the Microsoft Device Ecosystem Platform, or the so-called NDAP, which means enterprise-grade security, manageability, and also long-term support. What really defines ClickShare Hub Pro, I would say, is that the experience it delivers, and we can summarize that in 3 words. It's easy, flexible, and also guest-friendly. First, easy to use. With just one tap, wireless 4K content sharing, anyone can walk into a room and start without training. The interface is intuitive and experience is consistent across all rooms. Second, flexibility. You can present from anywhere in the room using the next generation button or the ClickShare app. Also, it supports different room layouts, standard one-room display, ultra-wide display, or even dual display. And third, guest-friendly. External participants can share securely and seamlessly without installing any drivers or software and cross major operating systems thanks to the USB-C DisplayPort All mode on the ClickShare button. Knowing the capability of ClickShare Hub, let's walk through what the meeting looks like from a participant's point of view. The step 1 is join the meeting, and it starts with the control panel, usually located on the meeting room table. From the home screen, users simply find their scheduled meetings in the calendar view and tap join. That's it. For the at-home meetings, you can also start a call directly from your laptop and invite a room by selecting Room Audio on the pre-join screen. Either way, join the meeting is quick, is familiar, and it requires minimum effort. And once you are in the meeting, to collaborate, step 2 is sharing content. Simply plug in our next generation ClickShare button. It connects immediately to the room. No setup, no training required. Then just press the button and your content is shared wirelessly in 4K resolution from anywhere in the room. There's no need to walk up to the screen or to manage the cables across the table. It's fast, clean, and designed to keep the meeting flowing. Now, what really sets ClickShare apart is the freedom to share your way. With the USB-C DisplayPort All mode, ClickShare works with all major operating systems, Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and also Chrome OS. So visitors or the guests don't need to install anything, which makes this solution also very ideal for visitor-heavy environment as well. There's also an extra layer of control by design. Content only starts sharing when you press the button. It will never do automatic sharing at the moment when you connect the button, so there are no surprises at all. Whether you're using the button, the ClickShare desktop app, or a USB-C cable, the experience stays seamless. Finally, when it comes to extra control, ClickShare app offers advanced sharing features. The app is actually designed to let you share exactly what you want and nothing more. No surprises and no distractions. You can choose between duplicating or extending your desktop or share a specific application like PowerPoint or Excel file instead of your entire screen. So this also delivers greater privacy, no pop-ups, no notifications, and the freedom to work on something else on your laptop without showing it into the room. To sum up, ClickShare adapts to your needs and keeps you fully in control. Now, let's maybe spend a few minutes on our topic that's just as important as the user experience. It's about the installation. ClickShare Hub is also designed as an integrated all-in-one solution. So with only one device, you can enjoy both the room system and also the wireless capability meeting experience without installing 2 systems or 2 sets of devices. That means fewer separate components, fewer cables, and fewer things that can go wrong during setup. Because everything is purpose-built and certified for Microsoft Teams, installation becomes faster and more predictable. Whether you are deploying one room or rolling out hundreds of them, the result is a standardized setup that delivers a consistent meeting experience no matter the room size or the location. So what do you actually need to get started? The good news is not much. In the ClickShare Hub Pro bundle, you will find below items. Number one, a ClickShare Hub Pro together with the mounting disk, and a set of power adapter and a power cord. 2 ClickShare buttons and a 2-in-1 button tray, and a ClickShare control panel with the 10-meter USB-C active optical cable. Let's firstly take a closer look at the inputs and also outputs on the ClickShare Hub Pro to help us get started with the installation. Let's start it from the left. Starting with the power is driven through the USB-C power delivery, then the Ethernet port via RJ45 for a stable, secure network connection. For displays, there are 2 HDMI outputs on ClickShare Hub Pro, supporting dual screen meeting setups. Make sure you always connect to HDMI 1 port if you only need to connect a single display in the room. Peripheral connectivity is flexible, which reserves both USB-A and USB-C ports. For the control panel connection, there's a dedicated USB-C port with the purple ring on it, and there's also a wired USB-C fallback action on the right, which can also provide power delivery to users' laptop when choosing a 180 watts power adapter to the ClickShare Hub Pro. Putting it all together, the setup can be summarized in 5 straightforward setups. First, plug in the USB-C power cable. Second, connect the Ethernet cable through the RJ45 port for network access. Third, connect your Huddly C1 through the peripheral connectivity USB-C port. Fourth, connect your room display or displays via the HDMI ports. Finally, connect the control panel, making sure the source end is connected directly to the Hub Pro and the display end is connected to the control panel. And that's it. From unboxing to ready to use, the process is fast and repeatable. If you would like to have more visual guidance during installation, you can always refer to our step-by-step install video. The link will be shared later. Lastly, to support different room layouts and installation needs, there's also a range of optional accessories. First, the 2-in-1 button tray. It can be used on a table or mounted on a wall, and it also supports older generation ClickShare buttons. Just note that our next generation new buttons requires the new tray because of the size. Next, the wall mount plate. This is ideal for clean, professional installs. It supports both horizontal and vertical mounting, accommodates different cable sizes, and keeps all cabling securely hidden at the back of the device. And it is also compatible with our current C5, C10, 620, and 630 products. Finally, the ClickShare USB-C extension over CAT kits. This will come in Q3 this year. This accessory makes it easy to extend the USB-C connectivity over longer distance, which can be connected between the ClickShare Hub and the ClickShare control panel, or between the ClickShare Hub and user's laptop for wired content sharing. What makes these extension boxes handy is in installation is that it doesn't require an extra power supply. Together, these accessories give IT teams the flexibility to adapt ClickShare Hub Pro to visually any meeting spaces. So with a simple installation, flexible accessories, and also enterprise-ready connectivity, ClickShare Hub Pro is just as easy to deploy as it is to use. Now, we've covered how ClickShare Hub Pro simplifies meetings and installation. To complete the room experience, I will now hand it over to Fraser, who will take us through a deep dive into a Huddly C1, the all-in-one camera and speaker that brings video and audio together for hybrid meetings. Fraser, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dorothy, and great to join this session just to be able to give an overview of the Huddly product, but also obviously the partnership that we are building with Barco. We've obviously been in partnership with Barco for quite a number of years, and all of our current product portfolio is already certified on the CX range. And now this is a really exciting step that we're now moving into certified Teams solutions with Barco. So I'm going to sort of talk about the C1 a little bit, and then I'll talk a little bit about where our joint roadmap will go from giving customers choices moving forward. So I think from a Huddly perspective, we see the device that we're connecting to the ClickShare Hub in sort of two ways. One is hardware, and hardware is important because we need to build hardware which is AI ready. And as you know, the life cycle of this product for us is a 5-year life cycle for customers. So over that time, we'll do a number of software updates to the device, and it'll improve and get better. A great example of that is we have a firmware update coming out shortly on the C1, which will extend and improve the coverage of the microphone pickup with the device. So having a platform that's able to do that, but also look at future engagement with agentic AI and how we might be able to use those tools in a workplace is very important. And then from an intelligence point of view, everything that Huddly does is, and all the experiences we deliver is delivered on the edge. So we don't want to put any burden on the compute we're connected to. We don't want to put any processing burden on the hub. All of the experiences that we deliver are on the device itself, and it's a very consistent experience that way. So if customers in the Barco world have ClickShare CX in some rooms and hubs in other rooms, you'll get exactly the same experience from the connected Huddly devices, because the experience is driven and delivered from the edge on the device. So I think also important is the evolution of Huddly and our products over time. We've gone from smart cameras, and we started doing edge AI driven camera solutions back in 2018. We evolved to PoE connected devices, and that PoE connection is important because it gives us flexibility, and exactly what Peter was talking about earlier, flexibility around deployment, and also simplicity around deployment and simplicity around support. So they're sort of key tenets of what Huddly delivers from our product portfolio. The camera systems obviously have developed from there. So multi-camera systems have become a very big conversation in the industry over the last couple of years. And I think really that's about how do we create a much more connected experience for our remote participants, an experience where I'm not just looking down a single view into the room. It's a more dynamic experience into those rooms to make me feel more connected. And again, the PoE architecture allows us to connect cameras together, and then those cameras effectively talk to each other, and we use an AI directed to choose based on who's talking and where they're located in the room, which is the most appropriate camera to send to the far end. And sort of where we're now evolving that to is on the right-hand side of this slide, which is collaboration systems, where we're now starting to add audio into that. And the C1 is the first product that we have in the portfolio where we deliver video and audio, so video, speakers, microphones from a single device. Today, certified for small and medium rooms in the Microsoft ecosystem. But as we evolve that portfolio, we're going to be looking to be able to address any meeting room size within a customer environment. And we'll talk a bit more about that as we go through the presentation. So the other big piece here is about consistent experience. So I think what our customers certainly are looking for is whether I deploy a small room, a medium room, a large room, or a boardroom, or a multi-purpose flexible room, I want to have the same video experience. I want it to be consistent across all those spaces, so the user experience is the same or similar, and so that it's a very consistent experience irrespective of room type that I move into. So again, this slide just shows what that portfolio looks like. Obviously, we're focusing very much on the C1 today, but as we evolve the partnership with Barco, we will look to certify for the larger spaces as well, so that we can deliver that flexibility into the Barco ecosystem. Now, this should have audio, so I don't know whether that's on the far side, but this is essentially a product video on the C1. And this is sort of, as I said, our first audio device and a video audio device, and it's a very powerful audio device. the update we're doing at the end of this month will allow us to be sort of picking up microphone up to about 10 meters away. The speaker capacity on the device is incredibly strong as well. That's more than capable of doing up to that 10-meter space. So very, very powerful device, but also the ability for us to connect additional cameras to this, so that if we do put it into a medium room and we want to get a multi-camera experience within that medium room, you can do that. So you can scale that as we go. And I think there are other pieces here which are important. Mounting options. So I think a lot of customers and partners are looking at how do we mount this. It comes and ships with a wall mount bracket, but we can also do express install solutions. We can also do mobile cart solutions, credenza solutions, and then on the bottom there, what you see is this concept of snap-on fronts. So we have the base system, which is what you've seen in all the other images through the presentation, but then we have the ability to customize the units dependent on the look and feel that our customers want in their meeting room. So the dark and light versions that you see there are effectively snap-on fronts that are available from Huddly and our distribution partners globally. And on the right-hand side, what you'll see there is an ability for us to actually deliver any Pantone color as a snap-on front for customers. So if you are a customer and you want to customize the look and feel of the device, you can do to any Pantone color that fits your either corporate identity or the fit out that you're doing. If you're an integrator or a reseller and your customers are asking for customization, this is very simple. It's literally a snap-on front that will snap onto the front of the device, and it can customize and change the look and feel of the system depending on the need from the customer side. And then what we announced just recently at ISE is the extendability of C1. So the ability of C1 to become a crew system, and crew being our multi-camera system. So the ability for us to extend a multi-camera system into medium rooms, so you get a more inclusive experience for your users and your remote users into the meeting room. And from a connectivity point of view, it's very simple. We connect the PoE connected crew cameras. They come into a network switch which doesn't sit on customer network. That's really there just to create connectivity between our cameras. That switch connects into the C1, and then the C1 connects into the ClickShare. So very simple architecture, very, very flexible, and very easy to support from a customer side. And then in terms of experiences that we then can deliver on that, we have group framing, speaker mode, collaboration mode are the three experiences that are supported on the C1. And that's sort of depending on the desire of our users as to which one they want to choose from a solutioning point of view. And then perspective correction is quite unique to Huddly. It's essentially us being able to get rid of the barreling that you'll get from a wide field of view using AI to normalize that. But also if I place the camera up high or down low, we can actually, if it's sort of tilted too high, we can actually perspective correct so it looks more like I'm looking into the room. So we get rid of sort of bird's eye views into the room and awkward sort of images that you might see. And the image you see on the right-hand side is actually a crew system where the camera's probably at 2 meters on the wall, and we use AI to perspective correct to give the best experience we can do for our customers. And sort of where this is going, so, Edge AI and the ability for us to deliver really rich insights into the room is really, really evolving very quickly. How do we do attribution of speakers in the room? That's something that we're working on very hard at the moment. The more cameras and the more sensors we put into a room, the more understanding of the room we have, and therefore the more accurate the director functions get. So the AI director that we have today continues to evolve and improve. I think importantly, and going back to what Peter said at the start of this presentation, simplicity around deployment and support is a massive thing for our customers on a global basis. So PoE, from an installation point of view, around add-on devices, no configuration. So there's very, very minimal configuration on the Huddly products. Again, from a customer point of view, it needs to be plug and play. Just makes that ease of deployment important. And then, as I said at the start of the presentation, this idea that we improve over time. So the product that customers get day one is not the product customers have 1-2 years in. We probably do 3 major updates a year on each device within the portfolio. And then obviously this is the C1's actually the first in the next generation of AI chipsets that we're using inside the device. So it's 20 times more powerful than the last generation of products. So it's got a lot of capacity there for us as we start to lean into how we connect with productivity tools, AI productivity tools within the workplace, and what does that mean from change of meeting room. And then lastly, again, there's a video here. I'm not sure whether we've got the audio on this, but it'll give you an idea. To just explain the video shows you how the multi-camera system now starts to see the room. And it sees the room in 3D and actually can map the whole space. And why that's important for our customer and user community is that we understand the room. We have so much rich data and information that we can now share, and that can be shared to management platforms, or it can be shared up into collaboration platforms like Teams and Copilot, so we can really start giving that information and that knowledge to that layer. And I think as we evolve, meeting rooms, the ability for not just human participants to participate, but actually, knowledge working AI tools that want to connect and make us more productive. That's incredibly important to have hardware that will be able to support that, which is what we're doing in this generation of hardware. So I think we've lost the video on that, but the audio on that, but you can see the video. It just sort of gives you an idea of the mapping that the cameras do within the space. The short-term benefits of this is going to be more accurate framing. The fact that all the cameras understand where each other are effectively means that we can understand individual people from every camera, has a common understanding of those people, which means we are able to switch and track more accurately. But as we sort of evolve this is about all that data that we're capturing being available to the platforms that we're connected to, which becomes important for our customers. I think that's my last slide. So again, I think at the end of the webinar, if there's any questions or any more deep dives that you'd like us to go into, more than happy to do that. I think passing back to you now, Peter, is that correct?
Yeah, thank you very much, Fraser. And indeed, we will have some time to pick up on questions. And for people where the audio of the video didn't came through to the far end, no worries. We are distributing the slides, so you can rewatch the slides as much as you like. But going over towards the ClickShare conference. On the ClickShare conference, I want to put something in the spotlight, and that's when you're in the meeting and you want to hand over between different presenters. We want to make sure that this goes as smooth as possible. So how do you become the king of the meeting room? Well, it's to know these little things that make your life in the meeting room easier. Simple. You have a choice. Do you want to hand over completely to the other presenter, and does he need to have full control over the screen? Then it's very simple. He or she should just do a long press on the button, and then the screen will be entirely taken over. But sometimes you have this content that you actually want to share next to the content that you're sharing, and that's something you can very simply do by doing a short press. So by a short press, and then with a short press, you can take it away as well. So these are the little tips that really will make your meeting room experience much smoother. But I can understand if there are people like, I want some more visual guidance when doing these type of handovers or mixing of content, then of course ClickShare has you covered. Therefore, we have the ClickShare app where you can do all these actions with a visual aid, where you can then select your content to be presented, and if it's side by side or just with a full, you could say, takeover. Then next up, we go from, you could say, the meeting room to the desks where all these meeting rooms get managed. And that can be quite the task, but there as well, we're there to help you out. And how do we help you? We offer you a centralized management platform, which is called XMS Cloud. Because if you don't have a central management platform to take care of your meeting rooms, then you're just in a reactive modus. You're only hearing as lost when a meeting room has been broken by a ticket that was filed to IT by an end user, and you're always late to then fix it. Then keeping, you could say, your firmware up to date of the devices in the meeting room. That's manual work, manual checking, doing tours of meeting rooms, and that costs you a lot of valuable time that you can spend on other stuff. And that's where XMS Cloud comes in. XMS Cloud is a central platform where anything that is being detected in the room is being propagated to that platform, giving you notifications and alerts of the things that you should be aware of, maybe informative, maybe critical, but all that making sure that you don't need to do these daily or half daily visits to make sure everything is up and running. The green check mark on the dashboard of XMS Cloud says it all. So when you log into XMS Cloud, you get your entire system health at a glance. You instantly see the health of the meeting rooms. You see also, you could say, the deployment of the firmwares, and you can see whether any incidents have come in. It's something you see, it's collapsed here, very open. I'm gonna dive a bit deeper on these notifications. So if you collapse that on the top right, you actually see what were the last notifications that came in. If you click on it, you go to the dedicated screen to actually handle this. But then the question comes, do I need to log in to see this? Well, actually not. To actually have these things come in, yes, they pop into XMS Cloud, but if you want, they can come into your email box as well. You see there on the notifications pop-up, there is a little cogwheel on the top right. And if you hit that cogwheel, you actually go into a configuration page. And it's handy to set your configuration, but as well to get a bit of an overview of what are all the notifications that XMS Cloud is actually giving to you today. Because yes, it's system events that come from the device, the button, or from our cloud services, but also you can configure how to receive updates from Barco. For example, when we put out a new release with new functionality, or we would like your feedback. Sometimes we do that when we're thinking about something new. We want to have your input to make sure that we actually cover all your needs, and you can get these notifications in the application of XMS Cloud through pop-up, or you can actually opt in to have these via email as well. I want to take the opportunity to go a bit deeper as well on the system notifications. This is a bit the core of the health monitoring of a meeting room, and there we make it easy. And not everything is high alert, and therefore we have defined 3 categories. You could say the high alerts are the critical events. When, for example, there is some hardware failure, can be a base unit or something that happened with power to the camera. These are alerts that stop people having the ability to use your meeting rooms. But then there are also, you could say, less critical alerts. Some that are like, okay, may need your attention, pick on that. For example, if a firmware rollout was not successful, it's not a disaster, but anyway, you can pick it up and change it later. And then there are informational alerts that you can look at your convenience. A lot of that is confirmation that an action that you planned succeeded, just that you know everything is running well. But also on these events, it can be, depending on your organization, that some of these notifications are more important than others. And if you go to the general event configuration page, you actually see that overview of all these, and then in these different severities. But you also see in the action column, you have that cogwheel where per event, you can actually configure the amount it contributes to the health factor. So it could be that in your specific case, a certain event is not, you could say, as critical as we have judged it. And for that, you can actually, you could say, lower the health factor. Vice versa, you can up the health factor. What does that do? Well, we calculate, you could say, a health score for each of the meeting rooms. And this is partially done by evaluating events that have come in. So if you want to tweak, you could say that health calculation, that is a way you can do that based on the events that have come in. And then another one is the auto dismiss, especially handy for info events. I know it's an info event, just a confirmation. You probably don't want to have an endless list of info events in there. So you can actually configure, like, if I didn't dismiss it myself, then after a certain period, this event, you can dismiss it. So this gives you a lot of, you could say, flexibility to make that health monitoring fit your own way of working and your organization. But said all, it's the fact that you start looking into XMS Cloud, make it your own environment to have a healthy meeting rooms up and running, and be sure and be confident about your deployments. And then we skip to a new part in this webinar. For me, this is the first one. And I want to announce, you could say, some spring promotions on the ClickShare conference. They started in April and they last until the end of June. So make your benefit into them. It's on the CX20, where we currently have a 125 euro discount. And on the CX50 Gen 2, that's global. CX20 is only in EMEA, but in the global, we have CX50 Gen 2 with a $200 discount. Terms and conditions apply, so contact your distributor to get all information about this promo. And with that, I would like to hand it over to Catalina.
Thank you, Peter. Right, so thank you everyone for joining our spring release session. Thank you for tuning in. Now it's time for Q&A. I already see quite some questions popping up in the Q&A box, and would like to pick up a few. So I would like to start with the first one for Peter, perhaps. Is the Hub Core also certified with the Huddly C1?
Yes. So in that sense, you could say that we promote the Pro, seeing that, this is a solution that can scale to medium and even larger rooms, where the Pro, of course, can shine with the more capabilities that Dorothy explained. But if you really have, you could say, deployment, for example, we want to see one in a small room, of course, then a Core can make perfect sense. And we made sure that this is also certified with Microsoft.
Right, and then another one related to XMS. Does XMS Cloud support Huddly devices?
Yes, so we support Huddly devices. So that means if you couple a ClickShare unit with a Huddly device, you will see in XMS the status of that device. But it is indeed the fact that we see that the device is on, device is off. You can see which device it is. So yes, there is still, sensing in the question, there is still room for improvement. And there we are actively collaborating between the Barco team and the Huddly team to investigate how we can integrate into the future, giving you even more information than this.
Right, now I think a few which Fraser can answer. So someone is wondering, what is the plus of C1 in respect to the Poly Studio or the Max Hub UCS7?
Yeah, I'm going to be very careful and not be derogatory towards competitive products, but a simple answer on that one is quality of video and audio experience would be significantly enhanced. I think also, and this is really important, and it's going to become more important as we move forward, it's the capacity of the device, the AI capacity on the device, and this is brand new processing architecture from us. So it's got a lot of capacity and it's got a lot of scale. So as more connectivity starts to happen with AI agents and AI productivity tools in the workplace, the ability for that to be handled at the edge will become more and more important. So I think that's very important from a customer point of view around investment. And I think lastly, the modularity and scalability of the products. So the ability that I can add additional cameras to the C1 product to give it a multi-camera experience into medium meeting rooms becomes, I think, very differentiated for our customers.
Right. We have another one, which is related to the Huddly Crew 3 being certified or compatible.
Yeah, I'm going to be careful about what I say here, so I don't put too much pressure on the joint engineering teams. But there is a very clear short-term certification roadmap around the products to enable Crew and a certified Crew solution with the ClickShare Hub products. Peter, I don't know whether you are okay with talking about timelines on that, but I would say soon. I mean, mid-year sort of time frame, I think, is a reasonable expectation, dependent on obviously going through the certification process.
What I would say is that we're looking into it, we're putting the effort into it, and yeah, I would say on timings, I think of course we wanted to have that timing, but given the fact that there are indeed multiple organizations involved to get a certified bundle out, you could say let's confirm when we are actually close to that certification on time.
Right, and then there's there were several questions related to different devices that Barco will or will not work with. I see Shure P300, Lumen's DR60A, and there are a few others.
I can confirm we're working hard to extend the amount of certified devices. And at the same time, we're also testing, you could say, which devices are compatible and which not, which we could support in the future. So that is something that we're definitely working on to extend. You could say these alliance partnerships. We will inform you once new things are heading out. If you have, you could say, a specific concern on a specific device, feel free to reach out to your Barco representative for more details on it. But in general, we are extending, you could say, the support for the ClickShare Hub on peripheral devices in a rapid speed.
Right. Now, another question, I think this one is for Fraser. What is the mic pickup range of the Huddly C1?
The official certified range, the certification around the device is Microsoft certification up to 6 meters. Update that we're doing at the end of this month, the expectation is to be able to have good microphone pickup up to 10 meters. So that's sort of the guidance that we would give to customers today.
Right, brilliant. Peter, is it possible to have Barco CSE 200 and 200 plus in XMS?
Well, I understand the question because these older devices, they don't have, you could say, native capability to connect to the internet, so to XMS Cloud, but we have a solution for that. So yes, they can connect to XMS Cloud, but you need to deploy an XMS Edge on your network. This is a gateway tool to which the CSE 200 connects, and then the XMS Edge will take care of the connectivity to XMS Cloud. So yes, it's perfectly doable, but you need to then deploy the XMS Edge on site to create that gateway.
Right, thank you, Peter. So if anyone still has any questions, right. The middle of the timeline support certified for Biam, Soundbar, and IntelliMix P300 from Shure.
So for there, I think there the same answer applies. We're working hard on extending the peripheral partnerships as well as the certifications for specific combinations. Yeah, feel free to reach out to your Barco representative for some detailed information.
Right. I also see a few raised hands, so if anyone would like to ask any questions live, please feel free to do so. right?
Maybe those were just hands of like applause.
This is how I like to look at it as well. Right. Okay. So I think there are no more open questions. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you to our speakers. We will send the recording and the slides later this week. And in the meantime, stay tuned for our summer session on June 11th. And until then, have a fantastic rest of the day and a fantastic rest of the quarter. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.